So may I have your attention? Sandali lang tong lecture natin. First of foremost, this is a short topic in your Junquera. Another thing, I know that you have had your review in your practical review. Tama? So natouch ito ni Dr. Santos? Yes. And of course, you have seen this in the lab. So for tomorrow, you will have your last chance to visit the cadavers one last time before the practical exam plus the slides all over again. So you take advantage of that opportunity for tomorrow kasi our next activities until the practical exam ng conferences na lecture, ganyan. So I think that's your last chance to see them again. So for this histology of the accessory organs of the digestive system, very simple lang yung learning objectives natin. The first one is to be able to identify the histologic structures and characteristic features of these accessory organs. No? But let's not just stop at identification. Dapat you are able to distinguish the one from the other. No? What are the characteristic feature landmarks of this organ and set them apart from the other accessory organs. Next is to understand the concepts of your structure-function relationships in the liver, and of course, correlate your basic histology with their gross anatomy counterparts and the function. So, unofficial. No? So for the references, still the same, no? Junquera and De Fiore. So what are the organs that we are going to discuss for this afternoon? Pag sinabing accessory, sino sila?
Salivary.
Parang gusto ko yung i-charge. Parang kulang na kayo, low-bat na. Madami ba masyadong pumasok sa mind natin sa neuro? Ano kayo, no? Pasensya na.
More shock pa ito.
Oo. But anyway, ano lang kayo, just sit back and relax. Pero don't sleep. Don't sleep on me. So, ano yung mga organs? Konti lang sila.
Pancreas.
Liver. Gallbladder.
Salivary gland.
Salivary glands.
Yay, very good.
Masabi ko nga dun sa kabilang section. We have an academic society, no, for your basic subjects, basic sciences of anatomy, physio, biochemistry, mga academic society yan. So for anatomy, you're planning to revive, no, just after the pandemic, the anatomy quiz B. And that's pressure on us kasi it's a nationwide battle. Battle of the...
Luisa!
So, syempre, yan. So, ano tayo? Competitive tayo. So, anyway, harapin natin ang ano. So, they want us to select a first year, a second year, and a third year student to represent. Anyway, okay, organs associated with the digestive system, the major salivary glands. So pag-usapan natin yung kanilang significance when we say salivary glands. What are they for?
Saliva production.
Initially, dun sa digestive process, moistening, lubricating, no? Ingested food, and of course, the initiation of the digestion of your carbohydrates and lipids with the amylase and lipase. Ano pa? What is it in the secretion? So, meron din siyang immune effect, no? Secretion of innate immune components such as your lysozyme and lactoferrin. So, major, because we're talking of the three pairs of the large salivary glands. Next, we have the pancreas. So, ano naman yung significance ng pancreas? Function-wise, so this is mixed exo and endocrine. Ano yung exocrine function niya?
Digestive and
The release of
digestive.
pancreatic or digestive juices And endocrine-wise, it's
Hormones.
release of the hormones. So very good. So release of digestive enzymes that act in the small intestine, and hormones important for the metabolism of the absorbed nutrients. Next, we have your gallbladder. Oh, gallbladder is what for? Storage and concentration of bile. Production is from liver. Okay, so the liver, very important in the role of carbohydrate and protein metabolism. What else can you think of about the liver? Okay.
Bigla na lang. Bigla na lang.
Pag mayroong mga toxic, yan, toxic inactivation, many toxic substances and drugs, of course, the plasma proteins and factors necessary for blood coagulation. So, let's dive into your different accessory organs. We'll start with the major salivary glands. So, the production of saliva comes from them. With a normal pH of 6.5 to 6.9, it will have an important buffering function. So, let's name them. Who are the major salivary glands? Remember, pair yan, ha? Parotid, submandibular, sublingual. Okay. So, let's take a look at the illustration. There are still minor salivary glands that are distributed in the oral mucosa. They just contribute 10% of the saliva. No? 90% will come from our major salivary glands. So, from the picture, you know the largest will be the parotid. Ayan siya, parotid salivary gland. And then you have your sublingual salivary gland. And of course, your submandibular salivary gland. Altogether, the major and minor salivary glands will secrete how much? No? Ito, 0.75 to 1.5 liters of saliva daily. So kung curious kayo how much is your saliva,
isang bote ng Coke.
hanggang 1.5 liters daily. Huh? Okay. Next. So let's talk about yung histology niya. No? The salivary gland histological structure. Outer-wise, it has a connective tissue capsule. So it's encapsulated. So that yung tissue capsule can organize the parenchyma into secretory unit. Secretory units. Okay? So ang secretory unit nito is it's arranged in lobules surrounding a duct. Okay? A branching duct system. And these lobules are being separated by the septa of the connective tissue capsule. Now, secretion is characterized by the different types of predominating epithelial cells found in your major salivary gland. So it can be either serous, seromucous, or mucous, no, depending in the content of the glycoprotein mucin. So before we dive into how do we differentiate them under the microscope, let's talk about the three epithelial cell types of the salivary secretory units. So what are they? Serous, mucous, myoepithelial cells. Okay? For serous cells, nakita nyo na to sa microscope. How do we describe it?
Pyramidal.
So they are your protein secreting cells, and shape pa lang. How do you describe it? Pyramidal in shape. And then it has a nucleus, round nuclei, a well-staining rough endoplasmic reticulum, and apical secretory granules. And this one, they are very adherent with one another, the cells, no? And they form a spherical unit. Yun yung tinatawag nating acynus. Okay, serous acynus with a very small central lumen. Next is your mucous cells. Your mucous cells, they're not pyramidal, but columnar. No? Parang columnar siya. Somewhat, kasi hindi siya perfect column. It's just that, more tapering yung apex ni serous cell compared with mucous cell. Another difference is that their nucleus is compressed and basally located. Okay, compared to the nucleus of your serous cells. Another thing, they contain apical granules with hydrophilic mucins. So their mucus content render them poorly staining under the microscope. It's not as obviously visualized. No, parang siyang hollow when you look at it under the microscope compared with the serous acini that are very basic or basophilic stain. Okay, next, they're more often organized as tubules, no, cylindrical tubules. So the right terminology there is mucus tubule. And then for your serous cells, they are in a unit called serous acini. So serous acini and mucus tubules. How about your myoepithelial cells? Your myoepithelial cells can be everywhere. You can find them in the basal lamina of either your serous acini or serous cells or mucus cells or even in ducts. Why? Because of their contractile function. Okay? So, they are having several contractile processes around any secretory unit or duct. And this will help, no, for moving secretory products into and through the ducts. So those are the three epithelial cells found in the salivary glands. Let's give a picture to those things that we talked about. Ayan. So look at the serous acinus. Ayan. So yung serous acinus, para siyang triangular or pyramidal in shape. Ano pa? Small central lumen. And it's more intensely staining. Tapos, in the periphery, you have there a labeled myoepithelial cell in your serous acinus. While your mucus tubule is this one, no? Paler, columnar, and poorly staining. No? And then you have these serous demilune, which we will talk about later, and your myoepithelial cells and the periphery, kasi nasa basal lamina siya. Okay? To help in moving the secretions. Okay. And we have your intercalated ducts and striated ducts. So, the next question is, when you were viewing these slides in the histology lab, how did you distinguish a parotid gland from a submandibular, from a sublingual? Based na rin dun sa teaching ni Dr. Santos. Anybody? Because your practical exam is right around the corner. So I want to know how you think. No? If you are given a picture of major salivary gland, how are you going to identify it?
Exclusively serous.
Pinkish yung stain niya. Kasi sa clear.
Submandibular, mostly serous, but with meningitis, tuberculosis.
Sublingual yung mostly
so we have to know po predominantly ano yung type na mas present in the parotid, submandibular, and sublingual. And then by correlating that to the histological description of the cells, pag tignan na po namin sa microscope, and makita namin na yun yung predominant cells, we can determine that it's a parotid gland or...
So let's specify. What are the predominating cells?
Sa parotid po is mostly serous, so we will mostly find po yung mga serous cells which are yung staining po nila in the rounded shape and then the pyramidal shape. For submandibular is mixed na seromucus, and yung sa sublingual naman po, it's also mixed seromucus but mostly.
Okay, so for parotid, I'd like to emphasize this, ha? Hindi lang siya mostly serous. It's exclusively and purely serous gland. Okay? No other. Hindi siya pwedeng mostly or predominatingly serous. Pag ganun ang sagot natin sa practical, wrong yun. Because your parotid gland will not have any mucous tubule in them. It's a purely serous gland. So the secretion is serous and watery. Okay? So located in each cheek near the ear, they are branched acinar glands with exclusively serous acini. Hindi siya tubulo-acinar. Remember, when you say tubule, that's mucus. So it's a branched acinar gland exclusively composed of your serous acini. And in the serous cells of your parotid, you have secretion of alpha amylase, which you know that it initiates hydrolysis of your carbohydrates and proteins. So you will know that you are looking at a parotid gland, LPO pa lang. Very easy to identify. No? Kasi wala kang makikitang tubule, mucous tubule. It's really ganyan lahat. Purely serous acini. And as I've said, this is not just a collection of epithelial cells. You have ducts. No? So meron ka ding intercalated duct and a striated duct found in this picture. Remember that. Okay? Pagdating naman sa submandibular glands, ito na yung branched tubulo-acinar. Ibig sabihin, mixed type siya. Predominating serous acini more than your mucous tubule. And because you have two populations of your serous and mucus, we have an arrangement called serous demilon. Distally, no, when grouped serous cells will be on top of your mucous tubules, they will assume a crescent shape arrangement called a serous demilon. So you see that in submandibular. Aside from that, you have to remember 2/3 of all saliva, no, which is seromucous in nature, comes from your submandibular. And in addition to alpha amylase, it will also secrete lysozyme, which is now important in hydrolysis of bacterial cellulose. So let's take a look at your submandibular. Tingnan mo, LPO pa lang. Look at the difference nung kanina. LPO pa lang. May nakikita ka ng pale regions. Somewhat. That's when you shift to HPO, basta nakaspot ka ng mucus. Ayan, no? Serous yan. Basta nakakita ka ng mucus tubule. Pero, marami pa rin yung serous acini. That's your clue that you're looking at the submandibular. Okay? Dun sa tip natin kanina, pag parotid, walang mucus, serous lahat, automatic parotid. Pag may naspatan ka dun sa pagkaka-focus na kahit isa lang na mucus tubule, pero maraming serous, submandibular yon. With, of course, intercalated duct, no? Kung merong mang nakikita sa focus objective. Next is your sublingual. This is the smallest of all the major glands. And again, tubulo-acinar siya, mixed type, but of mucous tubules predominance. The main product is mucus. Very few serous cells that will contribute additional amylase and lysozyme. So, under LPO, yan. I think very easy to identify, no? Palagay ko sa practical, kung salivary gland ang pag-uusapan, hindi kayo mahihirapan sa sublingual and parotid. Pag maputla, sublingual. Kasi ganyan siya, oh. Konting-konti lang yung serous. Kung meron mang serous na nasa, ayan, purong mucous tubules yan. Tapos, at the other end of the spectrum, pag silip mo, salivary gland yung question, tapos parang purple lahat, parotid. mahihirapan na lang kayo sa gitna, submandibular. Kasi you have to be sure na nakakita ka ng mucus para ma-qualify mo na tinitingnan mo si submandibular. Yun lang yun, okay? Yun. So, ang ano ko sa inyo, always repeat, tingnan. Hindi porket theoretically you already know it, you're training your eyes. You should train your eyes. Kaya, yung mga chances yun na makapag-histolab, hindi lang dahil na-picturean nyo na lahat, or na pakinggan nyo ng lecture, alam nyo na yung theoretical concept, pero you have to train your eyes. Kasi quick viewing yun eh. Dahil it's a time-pressured move system. So you have to train your eyes, tapos quick decision making, isusulat nyo pa yung sagot. So kailangan magaling kayong mag-spot ng mucus tubule. Ganon yung tip ko sa inyo. Kasi madali lang namang kabisaduhin, di ba? Kung sino yung predominating. Pero pagdating sa practical, ang mahirap doon, hindi mo pa rin siya sure na makukuha yung sagot. Kahit alam mo yung theory, if you don't know how to spot or differentiate cirrus from mucus tubule. Do you get me? Yun. Okay? So again, meron pa tayong intercalated duct. The next organ is your pancreas. So, sinabi natin, exocrine and endocrine gland. We already said what is the exocrine function. We already said what is the endocrine function. Now, the next question is, what structure represents the exocrine portion of your pancreas and what structure represents the endocrine portion of your pancreas? So, sagutin nyo, ano yung structure that will tell us this is the exocrine part of the pancreas, and what structure is representative of the endocrine portion of the pancreas? Yes, ano yun? Assign our cells. Okay, very good. Tama. So, on Friday, you have a gross lecture of the accessory organs. So, it will emphasize the surface anatomy of your gross structures in the accessory organs. So, itong mga to, more on histology tayo. But, location-wise, saan natin makikita yung body? Body of pancreas being hugged by the C-shaped duodenum. Nakita nyo ba sa cadaver? Hindi pala tayo, dapat nakita nyo sa cadaver when you, did you isolate? Okay? In-spread nyo ba yung mesentery? Okay? So makikita nyo doon, it hugs, no? It is being hugged by the duodenum. So, tingnan natin. Yung picture-wise, ayan, nakikita nyo na. So, yung head, ayan pala, sorry, head of the pancreas is being hugged by the duodenum. Then you have the body, and then the tail. Okay. So, concentrate on the microscopic pictures below. So, when you say pancreatic islet, no, endocrine yun. Endocrine. And your pancreatic acinar cells, which is distributed talaga sa parenchyma ng pancreas, is the exocrine part. Now, yung endocrine portion of the pancreas, we will discuss them in finals. Kasi yung histology finals is endocrine. So, focus natin right now is the exocrine pancreas. Pero, hindi ko naman sinasabing baka hindi lumabas yung islet, no? Basta dapat, alam nyo rin identify yung islet. Okay. Pancreas is encapsulated as well. Thin capsule of connective tissue, and this will organize again the parenchyma into pancreatic globules. So, secretory acini will be surrounded by a basal lamina that is supported by delicate sheath of reticular fibers with a rich capillary network. So again, we mentioned this, no? Yung endocrine part of the pancreas is represented by your islets of Langerhans, and the exocrine portion is represented by the cells of the serous acini. Here. Ang susunod natin kailangan sagutin is the distinction of serous acini of pancreas and serous acini found in the salivary glands. Are they the same? Hindi. Okay? Pag sinabing pancreatic acinar cells, serous cells sila. But what differs them from the serous acini that we have just talked about in the major salivary glands? Siyempre, hindi yan pareho, no? Okay? Una sa lahat, without myoepithelial cells. See, pancreatic acinus. Okay? So again, pancreatic acinus, several serous cells that will form the spherical unit. Pareho silang may small lumen compared with that of the previously described in your salivary gland. However, there is an absence of your myoepithelial cells. That's one difference. Another thing, your acinar cells will have round basal noduli. Basal. Mas basal yung location niya compared to the serous acini of your salivary glands. And they have what you call zymogen granules inside, no? For protein secreting cells. Okay? So, acinar cells, zymogen granules. And then, each acinus will now be drained, as you can see in the picture, by a short intercalated duct, which is lined by simple squamous or a low cuboidal epithelium. Ayan, intercalated duct. Initially, no, yung initial part of the intercalated duct are lined by your centroacinar cells, no, that are unique to the pancreas. So those are the histologic features of the exocrine pancreatic acinus. Okay, next. Now, let's talk about the intercalated duct, where the secretion of your exocrine pancreas empties to. So your cells of the intercalated ducts will secrete your pancreatic juice, which is alkaline in nature, no? Bicarbonate-rich ions, and will be transporting hydrolytic enzymes that are produced in the acini. So tingnan nyo yung ductal system in the pancreas, no? Intercalated ducts right after the pancreatic acinus, merging into a larger intralobular duct, and will merge into an even larger interlobular duct. So the epithelium there, from simple squamous, it will increase into a columnar type of epithelia as they join the pancreatic duct. And the exocrine pancreas will secrete around 1.5 liters of alkaline pancreatic juice per day that will be delivered directly into the duodenum. Inside, you have digestive enzymes, including proteases, alpha amylase, lipase, and DNAs and RNAs. Now, this is very powerful. No, these hydrolytic enzymes are very powerful, and you should be thinking right now how the pancreas can evade autodigestion with this kind of secretion. In a normal setting, bakit hindi nalulusaw yung pancreas natin? Palagay niyo. I'm sure you have heard of acute pancreatitis. Bangungot, sabi nila, no? Yung hindi ka na nagigising. Because that's autodigestion, no, of the pancreas per se. No, after a night of binge eating and drinking, overstimulation of the pancreatic enzymes and juices. Pero in a normal circumstances, hindi naman, our pancreas is okay with that. Why? Sige, tatlong reasons yan. So, restricting protease activation at the level of the duodenum. Next is because of the trypsin inhibitor, which is co-packaged in the secretory granules with trypsinogen. And the most important reason The higher pH in the acini and duct system due to the bicarbonate secreted by your centroacinar and intercalated duct cells. This will keep the enzymes inactive. It will keep the enzymes inactive with this higher pH in the acini and duct system. So this serves as the protection of the pancreatic tissue against autodigestion. How about regulation of the function of pancreas? We have particular hormones, polypeptide hormones, that are produced by the enteroendocrine cells of the small intestine to regulate the exocrine pancreatic secretion. CCK, cholecystokinin, stimulates enzyme secretion by acinar cells, and secretin, promoting water and bicarbonate secretion by the duct cells naman. So you have seen this, under HPO, this is your exocrine pancreas. Ayan. And under HPO, the intralobular duct, and your acinar, pancreatic acinar cells as well. Ngayon, ang papa-assignment ko sa inyo, when you go to histology tomorrow, you have to train your eyes how to distinguish the pancreatic acinar cells from looking at the parotid gland, for example. Yung mga magkakahawig ba under LPO, kailangan balik-balikan nyo yon. Hindi pwedeng, may picture na ako, pag-aralan ko na lang si picture. Hindi. Habang may chance kayo na nasa lab, balik-balikan nyo lang. Pagmasdan nyo, may mga details, get clues from the lecture and the atlas, and then go back to the slides and visualize them, look at them, under LPO and HPO. Paano kaya pag-rotate ko, what if walang clues sa question kung tumitingin ako sa salivary gland or pancreas? Paano ko siya ma-identify? Yun. That's your challenge, in the lab. So, I want to inform you, I don't know kung matutuloy, pero kasi during our department meeting before the second semester, it was initiated by Dr. Lenny that for the practical exam, he wants us to contribute questions ng mga lecturers. So, I'm not sure if that's going to push through because before, nasanay tayo na siya lang yung nagpe-prepare. So, for this coming, it's not from me, that's his initiative. Na kung hingan man kami ng questions, that means do not depend solely on his review. For your practical, kailangan magbabasa din kayo. Balikan yung mga lectures, tingnan nyo talaga yung mga cadaver and slides. Because I cannot promise you na hindi kami magbibigay ng question pag nanghingi si Dr. Santos.